2006, Chris Bernard and Scott Kolb, that's me, set out to set a land speed record with a leftover motor from a ruined motorcycle. We needed to set a land speed record in 125cc class. Current record stood at 133.5 with bodywork and 115.3 without. We would be heavily influenced by heroes from the motorcycle design world. John Britton, Dennis Manning, and Burt Monroe. My first road race, my good friend had an accident and it was red flagged. So he was hurt very badly, so I didn't finish the race. And that's what inspired the whole project. Was his RS-125 was totaled, and we were wondering what to do with the motor, because the motor was still okay. And between my buddy Dwight, whose motor it was, Chris Bernard and myself, we somehow figured out doing a land speed record attempt in the 125 class was a good idea. In order to have superior aerodynamics, Chris and I chose to have a hub center steering mechanism on the front end of his chassis. With the chassis complete, I just had a few details left to do a trial assembly of what would be a machining masterpiece for our facility. I should say the design and then the machining and sourcing of all the parts has been about 100 hours. Probably 120 all said and done. Using the hub center wheel assembly instead of a standard fork, or a leading link fork, or a trailing link fork, I get to put my face right up against the front tire. These are the steering arms. And this is what allows us to steer the bike. Now the axle. Grab the steering arm and it turns. With the rake set and a little help from some friends, we're going to do a test run for the first time to prove out the steering and the overall seating position of the bike. My friend Marty's also donated a little cash into the gas fund to help get us to Bonneville. The faster I go, the easier it's going to be, but it's slow speed. It's a little weird. It's sort of like riding a unicycle for the first time. You just don't know what the hell is going on. The knee cups being fabricated right now are key to allow the steering to actually work. The motorcycle is steered with your body initially and not with the handlebars, and that can only be done by putting pressure on my knees into the cups and moving my body from left to right. Streamlining the back and then the front. This is the nose and covers the front wheel, and we'll have a windshield on it to see through. With the nose cone and tail section coming together, I have Greg applying some mold release so the carbon fiber will easily lift off the buck. Chris Bernard, who's working on the project with me, we're sort of partners. We are partners, BK Racing, and he's done the exhaust. He took the stock RS-125 exhaust and altered it to fit into our package. At this point, Chris and I have logged over 200 hours of designing, machining, and fabricating. The team is now kicking into high gear. The help is rolling in. This list is sickening, because it all has to happen in the next day. Designing of the unknown, how to cool the bike, and hopefully it'll keep the motor cool enough to set a record. The carbon fiber process is starting. We're psyched. as the bucks have already got about 150 hours into them. It's good to get this part of the project rolling.
Okay, good. Okay, keep swinging it down.
Actually get inside of the layers.
Peeling the parts off the bucks, extremely satisfying. Our sponsor shows up in the nick of time. Thanks, Mark. With only 4 days to go, we're really gonna have to kick it into high gear. Bodywork's gotta be fitted, frame and swing arms still need to be finish welded, prepped for powder coat. Our number is 100, and then it's 100 and the letters APS. That's all gonna be in silver leaf, super outlined with yellow pinstripes.
This came to Scott in a dream. This is the LSR vehicle.
Inspiration, right?
We reverted back to nature. Everything successful in mechanical engineering always goes back to nature.
Nature and seeing the film The World's Fastest Indian, which portrayed Burt Munro's land speed efforts, was the true inspiration. My boys Greg and Tom working through the night, along with Phil and myself. I need it as far out as possible.
Okay.
Flush
And
air.
you're just gonna burn that into the weld? That's a little big, isn't it? I mean, a little small?
No, just like this. So you need to be, even with my helmet, needs to be like finishing up.
Okay, well, I mean, we'll see where the bodywork lays.
Up and down, flat plate, appropriate angle.
As we just avoided the problem of design by committee, we move forward, tear it apart, and prep the bike for powder coat. We're hoping our friends at Technical Coatings can fit us into their schedule. We prep the frame for powder coat. All bearing bores and threads are sealed off with tape and/or rubber plugs, and off they go.
All good.
Tuesday night crew stops in for their weekly meeting, offering opinions, jokes, and general fodder. Greasing bearings, putting the kids to work, and general buttoning up of the project. It's 2 a.m. and there's no time to stop. So tomorrow we depart. Thursday, I believe that's what tomorrow is, and we still have to paint the bike, all the bodywork, and hopefully we won't be smelling fumes the whole way. And we're close. It's 5:30 Wednesday night. We need to be there at the track Sunday morning. Got to come up with some kind of seal. See, it's going to come out and hit the ID.
Right, okay.
It's trapped under here. Our friend Oliver is going to laser cut some seals for our open bearings to keep the salt out. At this point, the punch list to get this bike done is nauseating. But we march on, and with a little coffee, we'll keep it going. We keep rereading the rules as the end of the project approaches, and realize there's things we've forgotten, like the carbon fiber chain guard, a lanyard kill switch, safety wire on the exhaust. The list doesn't end. Finally, we get to apply the paint. This is the most fun I have on the whole bodywork project. Our friends next door have done all the detailing on the bodywork. Numbers, artwork. Righto. Our bodywork looked so much like a World War II airplane We thought a pinup girl would be very appropriate. I never sat on the bike with my leathers and helmet. I find it all a little terrifying. Hard to believe we're finally packing. Jeez. The packing has taken most of the day. Hard to believe. I think I figured in 4 hours. Going on 12.
We're going to Bonneville.
I'm ready for a nap.
With 42 hours of driving, take a bottle of water. You gotta have you place it over your eye. Make sure your eye is wide open, and take a swig. Look all over, and then take it down.
And then spill.
When driving 42 hours straight, you can never underestimate the water bottle eyeball trick. With the addition of a little fuel, we make it to Wendover. Hard to believe we're finally here. You definitely feel the hallowed ground.
Hi, how are you today?
It turns out this is the best salt conditions on record for the last 20 years. They keep telling us if records are going to be broken, it's going to be this year.
Pure salt! Rippy as hell.
Taste it?
Lick it.
Bro.
Okay.
Yeah.
How is it?
It's actually pretty good if you like salt.
Tastes like the real thing.
Hold on, guys.
The bike still needs a good 8 to 12 hours worth of work to be complete. The bodywork, as finished, has never been fitted. It's going to take the team all day Sunday to get it done and to pass technical inspection. While the guys work on the bike, I head out and get all the paperwork done. I wait to enter myself as a rider and to enter our bike. What a team. At this point, I'm a little concerned about how the bike is going to actually drive. Having never tested it, I'm worried about the design of the front end. I need to get out onto the salt for a test run to prove it out.
Yeah.
14, check these.
This is going really, really good. We got a precision jeweler on the right, precision fabricator on the left, and I'm in the middle.
The organizer, Dennis Manning, and owner of the Bubs No. 7 Streamliner, tells us what to do and what not to do while we're out on the salt. He's also reminding us of what an honor it is to be out there with the fastest motorcycles in the world. The clock is ticking. Hard to say if we're going to make technical inspection today. It would be nice so we could be first online for Monday morning's run. For the first time, the nose cone is officially attached. Now, if only my head would fit inside it. We'll find out. We've definitely hit our target weight of 170 pounds. It might even be lighter. But before testing begins, I think it's a good idea to run it through technical inspection and see what the AMA, the sanctioning body, has to say about it. As soon as we roll into technical inspection, I realize I'm going to have to explain a few things on the bike. How the steering works, why the exhaust points forward, and why we're laying down face first on this motorcycle. We're definitely a little nervous. Oh, but we pass. Nice. Onward. The first test run, here we go. A little nerve-wracking. Let's give that another try. We removed the nose cone to help with visibility, so I can just get used to the steering and the characteristics of the motor and clutch. While a little wobbly, I'm feeling pretty confident. A few more practice runs and I'll have this thing licked. We are ready to rock. This would be my fastest test run so far. And again, it just keeps boosting my confidence, and I think the team's as well. We're all set for our first official run on the salt. We set up the pits, put on the sunscreen, essential, and prep the bike. The big streamliners are quite impressive. Maybe one day. Once the vehicle's online, it can take up to 2.5 hours to get to the starting line. There's nothing to do now but wait. The starting line is 3 miles away from the waiting area. It's always quite a process just getting to that point. We warm the bike up before each run, hoping to hit the ideal target of 55 to 60 degrees Celsius while in the measured mile. The starting area. We're given 2 miles to accelerate, and then we are timed over 1 mile, and then 2 miles to slow down. Seems like the waiting will never end, but I think we're just minutes away. Off we go, first run. Once the run is over, we anxiously await to hear our speed. We go 112.5 miles per hour. A little slow for now, with a few tweaks to the carb, the gearing, and a little luck, we should be able to hit our target of 133.5. While tweaking the bike, high winds set in and the day is canceled. We'll just have to prep for Tuesday morning. Dirt bikes, tequila, and beer. Nice way to end the day.
Herradura. Wait a minute, you'll have that cheese now, mister.
Oh yeah, this is for you.
Oh my God.
That's good tequila.
Yes, sir. It's very good.
The hangovers kick in by 7 p.m. Nothing to do but go to sleep, get ready for Tuesday. Tuesday starts and the waiting game begins. The green flag drops, run number 2's underway, and we get a great start. The rear spins up, but we hang on and put the pedal down. At 121, we've seen some improvements. Nothing to do but a little more tuning with the carburetor and the gearing, and deal with the fact that we now realize we're getting salt into the airbox.
The conditions here are so much different than where we have been running the bike. We need such a small main jet. Based on temperature and elevation here, our estimate and our guess was just so far off the mark. And we didn't come equipped. $3 part is just holding us up here.
Someone's going to take off to Salt Lake City.
2-hour ride each way.
2-hour ride each way and pick up some jets that we need.
Our friend Reginald heads off to Salt Lake. All we can do is wait, and while waiting, scour the pits, looking for that infamous jet. If anybody out there has a 146, we'll take it. While the crew has found a jet, it's not quite what we need. It's still a little large, but we'll give it a shot. With the bike tuned up, it's off to the starting line to take another shot at the partially streamlined record. As always, I need Tommy's help to hold the bike up in order to begin. As you wait online, the temperature and humidity can change dramatically, and we find that it is a non-stop race of tuning the motor to the conditions. While we're still a little slow, confidence is high. It's just a matter of timing. The debate continues as to what to do about the salt getting into the motor. While it doesn't seem to be harming the motor, I don't think it's helping us. Chris and the crew think adding a pipe to get fresh air down into the airbox is going to be a big help. As Wednesday rolls around, tensions are high. The concern of going home without a record is great. It makes us sick to our stomachs. Nothing to do but work hard and get through it. Cold mornings have made it hard to start the bike. We're seeing 40-degree temperature fluctuations from morning to evening. There's nothing like a 100-mile-an-hour test run on the salt at 7 a.m. Better than a cup of coffee. This run looks good, and it felt good. I was convinced we had done the speed. I was convinced we'd achieved the record.
He can't give us the speed. They're gonna give it to us in impound. So I guess they have changed that.
It's a great run.
Yeah?
Great run.
All right.
Man, it's
Best so far.
The suspense is killing me.
Sweet, this might be it, bro.
There's only time for
Bikes
2
won't
more runs
necessarily pull over rev in 60.
before the event
They'll pull over
closes
rev
down
3rd,
tomorrow
4th.
at noon.
But
A new strategy is
9 times
hatched.
out of 10, unless you're monster horsepower,
Right.
you're not going to pull over rev in top
So
gear.
are you asking me if we should be in 5th gear?
No, should we be the other way? You know what I'm saying? Are you actually hitting the pipe? Are you actually completely out of power?
Yeah, the motor's done.
So then why would
at
we go the other way?
12.6 or 12.8.
We seal off the front of the carburetor as much as we can to keep salt from getting back there. We decided to do a test run with the new air inlet. It's a disaster. We miscalculated the travel of the swing arm. The rear tire is rubbed through the fender and through the new air inlet pipe, packing out the airbox with salt. We're gonna have to hustle in order to get things cleaned up in order to run by the end of the day. Team goes into action. The team throws a new tire on, seals up the hole. Cleans the salt off the carburetor, laughs at themselves, and moves forward. Again, the wind sets in and halts the day. So we hatch a plan for Thursday. Take a run with the bike tuned the way it is. If we don't get the record partially streamlined, we'll pull the streamlining off, re-tech the bike, and go for the unstreamlined record. Thursday rolls around. We get there extra early, get to watch the moon set, and then the sun rise. We never grew tired of test runs, that was for sure. Our last chance at the partially streamlined record. The bike feels good, but to no avail. I quickly roll into technical inspection, having only gone 120 miles per hour, and the team sets up the bike to be inspected as an unstreamlined 125cc motorcycle. The tech inspector signs off. We're in the last group of 3 bikes to run at the whole event. We're given the green flag and head to the starting line to set up. I cannot wait to get going. It was a great run. We did 118 in one direction. But lo and behold, there's a glitch. The judges have said we are not allowed to do our return run in order to set the record. We complain that we've been delayed by streamliners and that we should be allowed to run again.
Yes.
Nice. We're allowed the return run. The 2 runs will be averaged to give us the record speed.
Let's go.
Having already gone 118 in one direction, I think we're going to go faster than that in the other. That'll put us 4 miles an hour over the top of the current record. Since this record has stood since 1978, it'll be a great honor to take it. Lo and behold, the bike does it. Nice. 119 and a half. Now it's time to celebrate. What a team.
We've got the record
What a club.
in 125cc special construction gas non-streamlined.
119 miles per hour. We had the team. That was the key.
So if you were wondering what it was like to ride that bike, kick back and check this out. That's what 120 miles an hour looks like with your face 14 inches off the ground.